Joe, you got to talk first.
Me? Why?
Yeah. Okay.
Welcome to this social distancing episode of Keeping Up with the Cardassians.
Welcome to Keeping Up the Cardassians Social Distance Edition, starring Joe and
Me.
Rob and Nick and special guest host for the day, Brody.
I finally made it.
Yay!
What's
Yay.
up, Brody?
The crowd goes absolutely mild.
Yeah.
You gotta love it. Hey.
Thank you for having me.
We're so glad to have you, Brody. This is a very special episode of Keeping Up the Cardassians where we talk about our cruise with Brody. We'll tell him how great it was and how much we hated Joe. And then we'll talk about some other things. It's going to be great. So thanks for joining us. Yeah, Joe is dying, so we couldn't record in person today.
This is my last show. We're transitioning out of me. I'll be dead.
Yeah.
This
This
meat
Joe's-
vessel that I call a body is gone.
Joe's in hospice care right now.
Hailing from the Oval Office, apparently.
I know. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Is that just your house?
Yeah, this is my room. This is my bedroom.
He's got
call
one
it
of the
the
greatest
presidential
Republican
suite.
president. Greatest Republican
Lincoln
president and
and-
greatest Democrat.
And
I don't see
Kennedy.
Reagan on there.
That's Lincoln
Kidding.
and Kennedy.
Lincoln and he's over there. JFK.
My gosh. My gosh. Good. You did it. I'm proud of you. You were pointing the wrong way.
I know. I thought it was over there. It's not.
How you feeling, Joe?
I'm good. I have COVID. I got COVID the second to last day of the cruise. I got it Friday night is when I first started feeling the ick. And then Saturday I had full-blown cruise AIDS.
Yeah,
And
rough.
I've had it ever since. I'm still testing positive. But it's the first time I've ever had COVID.
Oh,
Kids,
first time?
Yeah, first
Out of
time.
10, what do you rate it?
Out of 10, with 10 being, what is 10 the worst, and
Yeah.
and 1 is like it's no big deal.
Yeah.
I would give it a 7.5.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
It's one of the
you were
it's one of the
pretty
worst
bad
times I've
on-
ever been sick.
Yeah, you were fighting through it on Saturday.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
like
I
you're
remember
up
that.
and you're dressed and you're sitting up though. I mean,
Yeah, I'm on the tail end of it.
You're on day 8, right? No, 9. 'cause
No,
it started
no,
on
it's
Friday.
day 9.
I think the thing that hit me hardest with COVID was I was just always exhausted and I wanted to sleep.
Yes.
That was the biggest thing.
I've been exhausted. Friday was when I started feeling vaguely human.
Yeah.
And now I feel okay, but come 7, 8 o'clock, if I'm up and just doing random things around that, I'm exhausted. I'm done.
Kids, let this be a lesson to wear protection,
Yes.
right? That's what caused it.
I don't know. I mean, I only saw maybe a handful of people with masks on the cruise, maybe a dozen.
Oh, masks. Yes, masks.
Yeah.
Different kind of protection, Nick.
That's what I was talking about.
Facial
Yeah.
protection.
Yeah, exactly.
Wrap
No,
it up.
You can't, when you're on a big ship like that, there's 2,500 people there that are from
Yeah.
all different parts of the world. It's going to happen. There's no getting away from it.
Yeah.
close
especially-
quarters.
Yeah. And luckily now we have the vaccine, right? Which limits the efficacy of the virus. Wow, that's a big word for Nick today.
I was gonna say
Very-
congratulations on that.
Thank you. And I pronounced
Well done,
it
sir.
correctly too. I did a good job. But yeah, so we were on that cruise. So should we talk about that and we'll talk about the cruise with Brody and tell him how awesome it was? Or what should we talk about?
I thought
Should we
it
go
was-
on other subjects first?
I'll just start by saying, hey, if the listeners are not Patreon subscribers, that they really should be, because you guys were posting some great videos on Patreon. And I'm not going to talk about them because I want people to go sign up for the Patreon. There's some great Nick videos in there.
Yeah, karaoke. Yeah.
There's some pictures where Rob actually smiles for a picture, which he was drinking at that point.
Yeah,
he was drunk.
No.
Fact check. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, I know, right? He doesn't smile for pictures. It's crazy.
I've seen pictures of Rob with his family and he's just straight faced, but on that
Well,
cruise,
that makes
he's posing with somebody.
I was
Yeah.
smiling. I was 100% smiling at every picture I'm in.
The only time I've ever seen him smile in a picture is when he's in a picture with his sister-in-law.
Oh.
And then there's a great
smiling.
swimsuit picture of Joe, which must have happened before he was taken down by the Rona.
Did you?
Oh yes. Did you post
Did you
anything of me in a crop top? Is that what you're talking about?
It may have happened.
Yeah. Did you post the one of him underneath the one boat with the words and him laying suggestively
I
on the
may have.
concrete? Okay, good. That was
It
my
was my
favorite
It's
one.
it's him on a pool chair, and you guys
Oh,
have
yeah.
the Cardassians towel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's also some singing. It's a treasure trove of content in that Patreon.
And we got
And
some
that's-
new ideas. We got some new ideas for future content while we were on the cruise, if I recall. I don't know. I might have been having a little bit of alcohol, but I thought at one point someone's like, "This would be a great thing to do."
We
Right?
always have those. We have a list
Yeah,
of them.
Yeah.
Nick blacked out and rewrote the podcast.
It's true. It's true. It's all rewritten from the ground up.
Well, thank you for that, Brody. Brody. Jeez, Brody.
Brody.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you for. Apparently, I'm still drunk. But thank you for those kind words. We were hoping to put some good stuff out there for the Patreons.
Yeah.
Good
And
stuff.
that's all cruise stuff. There's
Yeah.
still a ton
Getting
of
a
stuff
signal.
pre-cruise.
Yeah, getting the signal out there was the worst. So it's kind of, even if you bought the internet package, nothing would load to Patreon with any kind of efficiency.
Well, and apparently now Royal Caribbean has switched to using Starlink, and it's still not great. So I don't know.
Yeah, there was some stuff. I would get a notification something was posted, and it's like, the video didn't work, and so then you had to like re-upload and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stuff got out there, but it looked like it took you a couple tries to actually.
Yeah.
It sure did.
So,
and that's just what made it through into the notifications. So
yeah, exactly. So let's start. Let's. I mean, I'm sure we might have first-time listeners today, especially from after the cruise. So let's start with.
If so, welcome.
I shouldn't say let's start, but I feel like we should talk about the cruise here, so they can kind of get a feel for what we went through and everything, and then we can move on to some of the other subjects we had. But I say we talk about the Star Trek cruise.
Let's do it.
It stinks.
Let's start with this. Let me ask you, gentlemen, a question. Rob and Joe, if you and Brody, you can just give me a hypothetical answer if you want. Did you find that this cruise was worth the amount you paid?
I have no problem with the amount I paid. I knew what I was getting. I know what I was doing, and I have no problem with the amount I paid. There were some things you'd like more, and we'll probably get into that as we go along. But I have no problem. Once I spend the money, I have no problem spending the money. Once it's gone, looking back, it's gone. I paid for it. It's kind of what you make of it too, in the long run.
Yeah,
you'd be disappointed by things if you want to be, but I'd rather focus on. I had a good time, and I'd do it again. Not next year. Not next year.
Okay.
But in 2 or 3 years.
Is it a yearly thing?
It's a year, every year.
Yeah. And maybe, Rob, that's a better way of putting it. Do you feel like it was worth the money, and would you go back?
I go back, especially depending on the guest.
Because you can, to me, I'm kind of like, it was a little pricey, but I would still go back in the future. Not next year, again, but I would go back. What about you, Joe?
I have no issue with what we paid for it. I just feel like I didn't, as the cruise goer, I didn't extract all of the fun that could have been had. Like, I didn't have any costumes on. I didn't do any of the excursions. I didn't do any of the makeup. So there are things to be, and the makeup was an extra fee. So it wasn't free, but like bringing your own costumes and everything for these, every night was a theme night.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of people that were in full costume and full cosplay.
Every day.
Every single day. And some people had like multiple, like for the day they had one, and for the night, for the theme night, they had another. And, my hat's off to them. Kudos.
Yeah.
But I feel like I could have had a more enriching experience if I had maybe understood the assignment a little better, or if this wasn't my first cruise, or I had a better idea of what each night was going to be like, I may have
Yeah.
tried to plan something.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was worth what we paid for it.
Yeah.
And you could definitely get your money's worth out of it.
I think you brought up a great point, Joe. It's like, and Rob, you said it too. Like, if you go into it, like you're only going to get what you put into it. Like, if you go in being like, oh, this is expensive and whatever, yeah, it's going to be expensive. But if you go into it looking to have the most fun, and one of the ways we could have had the most fun too is by costumes. Like, I'm not a huge costume guy, but that would have been fun to be a part of. Some of those costumes are incredible. Next year, I'm going to go as an Orion slave boy, and it's going to be amazing.
I like it.
Are
you going next year?
No.
Oh, okay.
But
I think as a show, we're talking about the 2 years from now.
yeah, I think so. In 2 years.
I think we're eyeing the 10th one.
Yeah, it's it is a lot of money to pay, but again, they have payment plans. You can pay it over the course of a year. That's what we did this last year, and it made it pretty painless. But I think it was a blast, and just the culture of the people on the cruise ship, Brody. Like, you have no idea. Like, this was a space where you truly felt like you could just be yourself. You didn't have to hide anything. People weren't jerks. There was only like one or two times.
And we will highlight them.
Yeah, I did run into some people in a hot tub. That was not great. But overall, like, I've never been to a place like that where I'm like, I can just be whoever I want to be here. I don't have to pretend. I don't have to, I don't have to fight for an elevator. I don't have to get annoyed with someone walking, like all these things. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, normally on a cruise ship, I'm going to use the word aggression. I don't necessarily mean it that way, but throwing elbows to get to an elevator, or there's a certain amount of rudeness and lack of professionalism on a lot of boats. And no matter which one you've been to, because we've been on Carnival and Royal Caribbean. And this one is very professional. Like, if you were there for the elevator first, they're waiting for you to get on the elevator. And usually on disembarkment, especially trying to get off the boat, it's a bloodbath. And this was smooth.
It is a bloodbath. It's like everyone for themselves. It's like the apocalypse is happening and people are fighting to get the final food, like getting off
those Mad Max,
boats.
Totally.
But this one, it was like no big deal. We just got on the elevator and left. It was kind of a bummer. I was expecting to draw blood.
I was ready to fight.
I was ready. We were just standing in the elevator like this, ready to go the whole time.
I was like, Joe, give him COVID. Attack.
Cough on him.
Start
Joe.
coughing.
Cough on him.
We'll get you in 5 to 7 days.
Yeah.
My curiosity is, how was the Star Trek theme like implemented? Was it well? Was it just kind of like there's some special guests here, or was it really implemented into the entire cruise?
It was over. Go ahead, Nick.
I was going to say, all the entertainment, all the shows, everything was Star Trek. There was no, like, if you just got sucked on that cruise and you didn't know it was a Star Trek cruise, you'd be in for a world of hurt because there's nothing you could go to escape it. They had signs up like over like the bars that, like, one was named Gowron's, right? Or Blood and Ale. Blood and Ale was the name of one of them. They had
Batleth and Bloodwine.
Oh, that's what it was. Batleth and Bloodwine. I like mine better.
And there was an EMH bar where Robert Picardo was hanging out because he played that character.
So from talking to people from other cruises, it wasn't as well themed as previous years. But for us as first timers, I was really impressed. Like, when I got on the ship, I'm like, I didn't expect to see all the signs be transferred over. Like, the casino was quartz. Like, it was awesome. I thought it was.
I agree. Go ahead,
even to the detail of like Nick mentioned, the quartz being the casino, like even the felt for like the craps table and the blackjack and the poker table, it was all like Star Trek themed and Quark themed, and like the graphics it was pretty detailed in some aspects, and then in other aspects it did seem like it was kind of haphazardly put together.
Yeah.
But overall I was pretty impressed with how thoroughly they engulfed you in the Star Trek. Now, there were a couple things where I thought they could have done better. There was, on the pool deck, there was a big like outdoor screen where they would occasionally show Star Trek movies. But generally it was I think I only saw 3 different films. It was Star Trek 2, Star Trek 3, and Undiscovered Country were the only 3 that I saw being played out there.
Yeah.
But it was
At least they're playing good ones.
It's true.
Yeah, but
Yes.
I would say, and I spent a lot of time on the pool deck. I would say probably 5%, 10% of the time I was out on the pool deck, they were playing anything on the screen.
Yeah, a lot of times it was just that Star Trek Cruise logo on the screen.
Right. I thought they at least could. And a couple times they had the movie audio pumping through the pool deck area, and sometimes they would have like the movie playing with music.
Yeah.
And either one of those options was fine with me. I thought it was a little boring that for the vast majority of the time they just had that Star Trek Cruise logo on the video board.
Well, that was very surprising.
And the capability was there because in the rooms, Brody, all the channels had Star Trek on 24/7. So like you would go to one channel and it was Lower Decks, another channel was Strange New Worlds, another one was the only one they didn't have was Next Generation, which was weird in hindsight now that I think back to it.
Because it stinks.
But everything else was playing. I mean, there was an original series channel. So they had.
Did they have Section 39 on loop on a channel?
No,
they had a whole viewing night though for Section.
They did have a viewing night.
Did they really?
All 5 of people were happy to go watch it. Probably. I don't know. We didn't go.
Yeah, we did not attend that. We saw that and said no.
Yeah. I'm not one of those people who's a purist and who's like the fan who's like, you can't do this. But that's a movie where I just feel like it fits in the idea of what Star Trek is. So I just have no interest in watching
good storytelling. And to me, it wasn't good storytelling.
Yeah, I hear you.
Was the food and drinks themed as well?
Drinks were themed, but the food was not. So
yeah, I don't want to eat goss. I'm okay with that.
But yeah, all the drinks.
Come on, you got to get into the theme.
Yeah, all the drinks had special names, but the bartenders never knew what the drink name was. So they'd have like the special theme drink name, and then underneath they would have like the actual name. So you would say the theme name, and they'd be like, "What?" You'd be like, "No, I want a whiskey and Coke." You know,
I thought that was.
Yeah,
to me, that's part of the appeal. Hey, can I get this blood wine? They're like, I'm just like, sorry, dude, whatever this is.
Yeah. And to be fair, maybe by the end of the week they had it because that was the first night where I was trying to order the specialized drinks, and they don't have a lot of turnaround, so they're just doing the best they can. Service is amazing too. Royal Caribbean always nails it. Like the staff is incredible, and like there's no problems there. They always cleaned our room, which you got to worry about 3 men in a room, but they did a good job taking care of it.
And one of them with COVID.
Yeah, food was
solid. Had COVID for a day and a half.
Yeah, but it was a long day and a half, was it not?
It felt like I had COVID the whole cruise. Looking back on it,
yeah,
I was like, oh, it was really only the last full day.
Isn't it funny how that can ruin it? Like that was my experience a couple years ago when I went to Alaska, and it was a 7-day trip, and I got it on day 3. And now I'm like, I don't even remember the days before. I just remember being miserable for 4 days isolated.
That's over half your trip.
I know, but it just
I had it for like literally like a day and a half total.
Yeah.
Of our 7 days.
Yeah.
But it sucked because the last day, Saturday, was my worst day. Like, and we ended up in the karaoke bar, which was one of the things I was looking forward to, but I just felt like hot garbage. And I actually ended up leaving because we were just too close. We had met some friends that we had met on the cruise, and we were all kind of sitting together, and I was starting to get worse and worse. And I was like, I'm not going to be around you guys anymore. Yeah. I'm good.
Yeah.
What was it? Nick's singing that made you sick?
No, Nick's singing actually inspired me.
I saw the video. You had the whole crowd in your hand, man.
Oh my God!
Like everybody was singing with you.
I would say Nick was top five of the night. I would say.
Oh, thank you. Well, that one guy was clearly number one.
There was a guy that sang.
There's always one that is a professional karaoke person. There's always
someone you used to love or something by Louis Capaldi.
Oh, that's right. That's what it was. Yeah.
I think that's the title. And I'm not exaggerating. I think he sings it better than Louis Capaldi.
Wow.
That guy was very good, but
He was good.
he clearly had gone through some shit, and that song was a very cathartic. Like he almost like collapsed emotionally
Yeah,
at
he
the at
did.
the end of his performance,
Yeah,
and like everybody was clapping and everybody was like giving him hugs, and just he was crying at the end of it.
yeah.
I was like, what did we just? I thought this was karaoke. This is insane.
Well, and that's what I was going to add, Joe. That to me, like there were so many good nights. The Bad Bitch Birthday Bash was fun. The next night there was the band. What were they called? Band 47.
Band 47.
Yes.
Band 47 were incredible. Tim Russ's band was really good. But like, the karaoke was probably my favorite, just to see how all of the people interacted and lifted each other up, and even the people who got up there who just did not have any pitch at all.
Yeah.
People were clapping and cheering
You
for
wouldn't
them. Like it
You
was
wouldn't have
the
known it.
most. Yeah, it was truly the most supportive place I've ever been in. Like, um, and it really reminded me of like how Star Trek is for everyone, right? It's designed for the person who feels like they're the outcast, the pushed out, who feels like no one understands them. But in the Star Trek universe, they know they're loved. And I just thought, to me, like, I'm like, this is what the freaking church should be. Like, this is amazing what's happening here. But it was a beautiful thing,
I'm
especially
glad because
karaoke.
originally we weren't going to go to the karaoke, but right after it was Tim Russ's band, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're like, well, let's just stop in. Let's just stop in and see what it is. And we found a nice little seat, and we're like, all right, this is pretty dope. And then there was three or four of the
Yeah.
actors there.
Yeah.
Connor
Yeah.
Cheer from Enterprise was kind of facilitating it, and he
Mhm.
was great. He was
He was
singing
the
with
host, wasn't he?
people.
He was the host, and he would start singing along. He'd get up there and sing with people, do duets with them. It was pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, and the non-visitor was there, Nikki DeBoer,
Denise
and then
Crosby.
Denise Crosby. Yeah, so they all came for a little bit.
I think the
But it
first
was,
person we saw when we got there, like the first real performance, was a girl did Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting by
and she
Elton
was
John.
amazing.
She kicked so much ass.
She
She
did.
was so good, and like Nicole DeBoer and Denise Crosby and the non-visitor, like Nikki DeBoer was already on stage, like backstage, and Denise and Nana had like found their seats and sat down. And as soon as this girl started, they got up, they went like I think Denise was like on stage singing with her, Nana was dancing, and it was a party. I mean, that song's like what, like 6 or 7 minutes long.
It's such a long song. I didn't realize
But
how long it was until then. But
yeah,
it was worth it.
like 30% of that song is just the end of it, where it's just repeating
Yeah.
like Saturday, like.
Sad.
But I
It
mean,
made me want
it
to
was
karaoke that song, but you got to
yeah, it was
nail that
awesome.
song to karaoke it. You can't mail that song in. You got to go hard,
No,
and she did.
She did. She was awesome.
Yeah. But it's so funny because like those are the things to me that were the highlights more so than the panel. The panels and all that were really cool, Brody. All those things were a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong; like they were wonderful to watch. But it was those experiences where you felt like you were interacting with the cast members, the crew members, with the talent, that it really kind of hit home. Like this is a good thing.
Yeah.
And apparently they do less of them now than they used to. Apparently it used to be where the talent was out all the time. And it's kind of shifted gears a little bit where they've gone more to panels and all that. I hope in the future cruises they kind of try to find a compromise in between the two.
Who was your favorite person to see?
I mean, I got a soft spot for Nana. I'm not going to lie to you, just because she's been so good to us. And she's a great person on top of everything else. And she did a whole TED Talk, for lack of a better word, where she did her Mama Nana.
Ask Mama
Nana. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just, it seems like she does actually care about in general. So I have a big soft spot for her and what she does. So it was nice to see her. It was nice to talk to her. It was nice to be recognized by her right after Nick and I were doing a tequila tasting that she was hosting, and she saw me.
Videos of that.
Yeah, she saw me, and she was like, and she went right for a hug. And
that's
pretty
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, she's wonderful. For me, goodness, I didn't really have the chance to interact with them, but to me, I grew up on Voyager, so just seeing the whole cast together and like their panels were great. I got to play Family Feud with them. That was a blast. I had a good time with that. I got to touch Jerry Ryan's hand. Oh, oh, I was in tears. Um, but honestly, I think it would probably be Nikki DeBoer. I talked with Nicole DeBoer for a while there, probably like 25 minutes at the end of
Wow.
the tequila tasting. And they actually had to kick us out. They're like, sorry, we're closing. You guys got to leave. And we just kept talking. That was probably my favorite.
I would probably say Garrett Wong.
Garrett Wong was my other.
Just because of how, I mean, he played the celebrity role very well. Like he did panels, he did games, he did all the things that you would go see him in. But he was also very down to earth and engaging. Like he was very engaging. We saw him on the way out to, I think
Cozumel.
it was Cozumel. Was it Cozumel?
Yeah.
We talked Lions football with him. He was out on the casino floor. I mean, he had the craps table like just jammed up.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was always out doing stuff and interacting with people. He was out at the bars. Tim Russ was out at the bars.
And they were just out that you could just like talk with them. It wasn't like
pretty much.
You got to wait in line or anything like that.
No,
like they're just hanging out.
Yeah, more so with the older cast members. The younger ones kind of, I think, were more isolated. Like if you're talking about Tawny Newsome or Cecilia Rose Gooding and
Melissa
Nevaeh. Yeah, Nevaeh. I never really saw her. So, but yeah, they were just out and about, and you could talk to them, and you just had to go up and talk. And sometimes that was the part where you're like, I don't want to do that because they're getting bugged a lot. But then you have to realize that's why you're on the cruise in the first place. You paid a lot of money to be there. Exactly.
The way I looked at it too, I mean, like they kind of got to know what's to expect with that. So once I accepted that in my own head, I'm like, all right, Eugene Cordero, let's have a drink, type of thing.
Yep. Yeah. You had a
Trish Masterson was out and about a lot.
She was out and about a lot. Which
Brody, I don't know if you watched DS9. She hosted some things that were like on the program, but then she also kind of did some things where like, because she was there was a Facebook group, and it was just for the cruise. It was like a cruise Facebook group, and she was in the cruise Facebook group, and she would post it. She posted a couple times that she was doing. I went to something outside of the Batleth and Blood Wine bar one afternoon where she was doing something for her charity, and then I think Rob went to her birthday. She did like a sunset birthday thing on the top of the cruise one night. And these weren't like in your daily flyers. These were events where you catch it on Facebook or something, or you hear that she announced that she's doing it. So I thought she seemed like she was really enjoying the cruise.
Yeah, I think so.
Did it seem like there was a focus on one particular series over the others?
This one definitely was.
both for guests and for like attendees.
Yeah, this one for sure. It's the 30-year anniversary of Voyager, so they had the whole Voyager cast there, minus Robert Beltran was the only one not there. So yeah, that was the whole point. But I think next year it's a broader cast and crew for sure,
because they're celebrating the 60th anniversary of
Star
Trek in general.
So I think you'll see a lot of them from all the different series.
And how about for somebody that is not familiar with Star Trek? Is there any appeal?
Go to a different cruise.
I mean,
yes,
I think there is.
I would argue there is. Like I told you, people are kinder, people are more accepting, people are gentler. But on top of that, since it's a charter cruise, it wasn't completely full. The ship wasn't full. They limit the amount of spaces. So you're never fighting for a spot at the pool deck. You're never fighting for a spot in the hot tub. You're never fighting for drinks. Like, to me, it's a good cruise. Now, if you're a first-time cruiser, is the premium worth it? I don't think it would be worth it.
Agree.
But I think you could find a lot of joy being there.
It didn't have a lot of like some of the when you go on a boat, a lot of the grandeur events like the stand-up comedians or the ice shows or the acrobatic shows. So it missed a lot of that. But I mean, if you could go to Tawny and Eugene Cordero's improv, it's not Star Trek related, so you can have a little bit of fun with that stuff. Like that.
Yeah.
They couldn't get a Star Trek focused comedian. Come on, that would be great.
I think they want to focus on the actors.
Actually, they had Joe on the cruise already.
Oh, no, I felt ill. I felt sick, and I had to back out of my duties.
Garrett did stand up one night. Who plays Ensign Kim on Voyager, but he's not really a stand up guy. It was more kind of stories that made people laugh, which is just fine. And then like Rob said, Tawny and Eugene did a night of improv as well. And then there was some other comedy things that they tried as well. So there was a comedy thing almost every single night.
Yeah, it's me. I was cracking jokes 7 days in a row.
I'm not surprised.
Oh, we were sides.
We didn't end up hating each other either, Brody, by the end of the cruise.
Hey, that's a plus.
We were jammed in a tiny room. I think the biggest fight that could have been is the rule of no number twoing in our room, and I fought that rule hard. I didn't like that rule.
Yeah, he did. He dropped the bomb.
Yeah. I didn't like that rule. I paid a lot of money to be there. If I'm going to number two, I'm going to number two where I want a number two.
I paid a lot of money.
Joe's bad, Rob's bad. Doesn't matter. I'm going to do it anyway.
I paid a lot of money to be there, so I used every bathroom on that boat.
Yeah, but I only used it the one time because I had to. I think Joe maybe used it once like that, and you did too. So we all used it once.
Was it just tiny? Like the bathroom was just tiny?
Well, it's just like, and then the smell just comes. It seeps out of there right away. So when someone's used the bathroom.
Yeah,
and we have an interior room. There's no window to
air that bad boy
open up and air anything out.
Yeah, we got the full tour on the Patreon.
I know
which pretty much involved just you guys walking in and saying, "There's the room."
Yeah.
It was much better.
That's all there was to tour.
Yeah.
And truthfully, we didn't spend a lot of time in there. Like, I know, Rob, you took a nap. Joe, when you started not feeling well, you were in there a little bit more. But for the most part, we were just in there for bedtime. That was it.
I slept on a changing table right above Nick.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. He did.
It's all the dirty diapers.
Yeah, which fit with my number twoing wherever I wanted to. So it was already a changing table. So, but I would give it a pretty high rate. I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10 in terms of like experience overall. I think the thing that holds it back from being a 10 is I just wish there was a little more interaction with the talent.
Yeah, and I think we learned some lessons on it too as a podcast even as well to try to take advantage of it a little bit better next time. So we learned a little bit too in the long run, which some things you kind of go, all right, we could have advertised better, but the towels that Nick made worked beautifully on, especially on the deck.
Oh my God, yeah, those were awesome.
Do you guys have a lot of people coming up and talking to you about it?
Actually, yes.
Yeah, we did.
Towels were very good for Brandon.
But it was funny, like, because a lot of the lessons we learned in Brody, like one of we were sitting there for breakfast on our final day, and I'm like, wait, when we're down here at the buffet, why aren't we just having stickers and passing them out at tables? And we're all like, oh yeah, like the final day.
We're idiots.
Realize that, yeah. But what can you do? But you also don't want to be overbearing at the same time, right? Sure. Like you want to get your name out, but you don't want to be that obnoxious podcast.
The next to last day, you're be obnoxious. Just have fun with it. Say, hey,
yeah. Well, and we got our word out. We passed some magnets out. Someone at one point stole our door sign, so we had to post on that in our site, but they returned it. Luckily, it was nice. Yeah, there was a theft problem on that ship. Apparently, people were stealing stuff off doors.
Why are you looking at me, Nick?
Look. I know you have I know you have some hands that like to get a little grabby.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Hey, and from that cruise, actually, I can say that we are going to have Garrett Wong on the show at some point. He said he'll come on.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so we'll set that up. We got to figure out our schedule before we dive into him because he's on that West Coast time. So he'll be on the show. So we at least got one interview and maybe Larry Nemecek too, which is a behind the scenes guy.
And I'm sure we'll get much more, especially now that we've introduced ourselves.
Yep.
So I was going to reach out to Nikki myself and see if she would want to come on for an interview.
Very cool.
Yeah, we'll get some people. Yeah, but it was
I'm
good.
glad you're on that first name that really like good first name basis, Nikki.
Mhm.
Hey, Nikki and I bonded over kids, so
Yeah,
we're friends.
yeah.
I bonded
We
with other people over the hatred of kids.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the Brody. There was no kids on the
Oh,
cruise.
None.
Yes.
No kids?
Awesome.
Was
No kids.
was that a rule? Was that there was
No.
no kids, or just
Yeah.
nobody brought their kids?
14 and up was the rule.
Okay.
I think it was 14 and up.
But I think we saw
was
total
it
of
was
3.
was that really a thing? 14
Yeah.
and up?
I think
Oh.
so.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say because it looked like I think we saw 3 youths.
Okay.
Mhm.
And I think the youngest one looked to be in the 14, 15-year-old range.
Yeah.
But it was
I mean-
awesome not having any kids.
I mean,
There were
we
more
acted
dogs
like
than there were
children.
Kids.
Yeah. So, like, it was fair game for the water slides. There was no one on the water slide. There was no one
Oh
on the
man.
there was no one on the surf machine.
There's
Like,
no one
you
playing basketball.
No one playing
It was
basketball.
us.
Like the
The
whole
arcade
back
was
of the
a
ship
ghost
was
town.
yeah. It was
There was an arcade?
Yeah.
Man,
it was pretty cool. Pretty cool.
All
So,
those boats have some kind of arcade. Whether how big
I'm
it is,
going to
it depends
raise
on
my
the boat.
rating to 9 out of 10 because there were no kids.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna raise it up a point for that.
that'll do it.
Yeah,
That can make a difference.
and I like kids. Don't get me. I don't want to beat up kids as much as Joe and Rob do. I like kids. I just like know it. Like the difference between a cruise with kids and without one was so substantial.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. I never like, and I remember like it was like the second day where we realized there were no kids, right? Where I'm like, guys, there's
We're in
no
the
children.
Windjammer.
There's no children here. And we're like, oh yeah.
I knew there was a sense of happiness all throughout the cruise. I was
Yep.
wondering what that was.
Right.
They're still teenagers.
There's 3. 3.
Three
all you saw.
teenagers.
That's
That
all
was
we
it.
saw.
That was it. Yeah. That was
And
it.
we weren't even the oldest people on the cruise. That was great too.
Yeah, we were. Well, yeah, we were probably in the lower tier for
Yeah.
ages, but we weren't.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And there was a lot of people around our age in their late 30s, early 40s, for sure. There was a large contingent of those, and then there was a lot older crowd, and then not much in between.
I appreciate you lumping in late 30s with us.
I know that's very kind of you.
It's very kind of you.
It's
That's
true, man.
That's
When you're
that's the pastor in you.
yeah,
More
there's,
like early 40s to mid 40s.
that's like
We're staying 30s, Brody. Thank you.
what is that? When you fill out those age demographics, isn't it 35 to 44? Isn't that one of the demographics? So there you go.
Not me.
Yeah, that's true. You're 56. So.
Shut up.
Anything else about the cruise, gentlemen?
We had something else, didn't we?
Oh yeah. That is
What was the
good
best thing
food.
you ate?
I had a hot dog every day. It was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
What's the best thing that you ate?
Hey man, simple things. I had a goal. It was eat a lot, and
Those
I gained
potato
14 pounds on the
pancakes.
cruise.
Yeah,
Those
the potato
potato
trapezoids were awesome.
Yeah.
The potato, yeah. The
Once
little
I found the
hash
French
brown
toast.
potatoes,
Oh.
French toast. Yeah.
And then what was the best drink you had?
Ooh.
I mean, I know Nick was enjoying the whiskey because there's
Yeah.
video of that.
I was enjoying the whiskey. No, but I did have quite a few of the mixed drinks that were like their theme drinks that were really good. I just can't remember what was in them now.
Yeah, I have no idea. That's a week ago.
I like they made a really good strawberry margarita
Oh, they did.
Yeah, they did.
This is true.
on the poolside. A blend like a frozen strawberry margarita just hits home.
Yeah,
And then I had mostly like old fashions,
you
which
did.
were
Nice.
really good. They were really
What
good.
was the special name for an old fashioned? Or was it just called an old fashioned?
It had a name. I don't
Yeah, I
remember
know.
what it was.
So
I may or may not have stole the menus.
Oh, those were complimentary, by the way.
Oh, those? Yeah, they are.
Yeah, now they were. But yeah, drinks were good. Food was good. I mean, the weather
Sounds
was
like
great
fun.
the whole time. Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. I recommend Star Trek fans go on it at least once in their life. It's worth the experience.
Do we want
But-
to talk about the one excursion or anything like that? No.
No,
We made some
we're
friends
here
on the
for
excursion. I'll
We
give them a
did.
shout.
We did.
Rachel and Patrick.
That's right.
Rachel, Patrick. We made some other good friends, and Brooke and Derek and Cassie.
And Barb.
And Barb.
Were they
Barb.
fans of the podcast already? Or they were
No.
just.
We're going to say yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yes,
They
they were.
hunted us down.
Absolutely.
Well, they're
Loyal
fans
listeners.
now, obviously.
Loyal listeners.
Well, we did meet, and I have them. I wrote down some of the people that we met, and those are on my list. But we did meet. And I'm going to put in air quotes. Super fan Jeff.
Oh, yeah.
So
Jeff
we met Jeff in line for
It was
the
very
first Voyager
show.
panel, I believe it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, because that's
And
where he had his
he just happened to
controversial
be
hot
in
take.
front of us in the casino in line, and overheard us talking, and then we just started talking, and I think we mentioned our podcast, and he said, "Oh, I just heard of you. I just started listening like right before the cruise. I think I've listened to a few episodes," which is that's. I think he was being very generous and nice.
Yeah,
but we'll take
think
it.
so, too.
He was a super fan, Jeff.
That's
he was
awesome.
wonderful. Yeah, he was wonderful.
What's up,
Like,
Jeff?
I know.
Yeah.
He went out of his way to introduce us to people, like to be like, "Hey, these are the guys from Keeping Up with the Cardassians. You should talk to them about being on the cruise next year." To like people
He
who were
introduced
part
us
of the
to Rebecca from the video game
Starfleet
the video game
Command.
Starfleet Command.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was so nice. Like, and
and we just kept seeing him everywhere, and he was just he was very nice.
That's one of the nice things about being on a smaller boat. It's easier to see people, because when you're on one of those like the Odyssey of the Seas or whatever it was, the Lido deck is what they call it in Carnival, but whatever, the promenade, it's so spread out and there's things everywhere.
Right.
And so like in this ship, it was very more contained, so it was a lot easier to see the people that you've seen before in the past, as well as the talent, I guess you could say.
Yeah. It was a smaller ship, but I think it makes sense for a cruise like this to have the smaller ship. I think it would hurt it with a bigger ship. Who are our friends, Joe, that we made that were from Cyprus?
That would. Oh, did I write them down?
Who was that? They were wonderful people. They thought Joe and I were a couple.
Oh, that's right.
Because Joe and I were sitting in the hot tub, and they sit in the hot tub with us, and we're all talking. We're having a good time. And she's like, "So how long have you two been together?" And I'm like, "Oh no, I'm married to someone else." And Joe's like, "Shoot, man, you should have played along." But the funny thing is, then
I actually did play along. I put my arm around
first, But every time we saw them out and about, it was just Joe and me together. And I'm like, "Man, we should just start holding hands every time they see us." So they're like, "You guys aren't a couple?" No, we're just good friends.
I have the names.
I'm gonna say like, "Oh yeah, we're in room 201 together."
Yeah, right. Exactly.
We're in the smallest room you can have, and there's not a third bed. So
well, and the thing is, like about the cruise, like there's no reason to not start to think that, because I didn't realize how popular Star Trek was with the LGBTQ crowd.
It is a gay cruise,
specifically the G part. Yeah, like there was a large gay contingent on there, which is totally fine with me. I loved it. I had a blast, but it's like I didn't realize how much of an impact it had within that community. And it was kind of cool to see that, honestly.
Nick, it had an impact on me within the time that we were on the cruise. By the end of the cruise, I'm cropping my tops.
Yeah, you were cropping. You was. And you got felt up on the dance floor the one night.
I did get felt up on the dance floor.
He did.
Which apparently was a very groping ran rampant in this cruise, apparently.
Yeah. There was a serial groper that they identified, and apparently he got blacklisted from future cruises.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, so needless to say, this was Rob's last cruise.
They would have liked it.
It'll be my first of many.
Actually, it could have been me, because my accidental groping.
Patreon.
I can't tell anyone about that, but I may have done something accidentally. It was totally accidentally.
I told you it's fine. I didn't care.
Total accidentally twice.
Yeah, accidentally twice.
It was. It was. So.
Well, it sounds like fun. I want to go.
Yeah.
2 years, you coming?
Yeah. Join us in 2 years, Brody.
Yeah.
You got to watch the
small room.
That was the most apathetic I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
No, I want to go. I'm in.
No, man. I'm totally there.
Sure, why not?
Our room actually did have a fourth bed, so just saying.
It really?
Oh my God.
That room had a fourth bed?
It did.
It's a changing table. Don't.
Yeah.
don't. It folds out from the ceiling, Brody. You're suspended you're sleeping on a changing table.
We because my daughter wants to come on the next one too, so we might do the 2-room thing.
Yeah. Ooh, let's go hardcore and get like the presidential suite.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll only be 12,000 per person.
We gotta get.
If we're doing 2
Patreon
rooms, can Nick
before
and
that.
I share?
Ooh, can we share a bed? And we'll be like,
Yeah,
we
just-
swear we're not gay. We
Yeah,
Just
swear.
embrace the couple.
People
embrace
walk into
it
a room
together.
and we're cuddling in the bed. We're both in a happy, committed relationship. We're just cuddling, guys.
Our significant others are at home. We just
Yeah.
came on this cruise together.
Right.
To get away from
What happens in Belize stays in Belize.
No, it doesn't, because it's all over my legs right now, my friend.
I don't know if they have.
and Patreon. And
Yeah,
Patreon.
That's a Patreon exclusive
Yeah.
as well. I'll tell you all about my rashes I got. It'll be joy-filled. I'll share pictures of everything.